Hello everybody, this is Dr. Lori Langdon again, and today's video is in response to a recent question I had from a parent, and that was about the fear of Vibrio, an infection that happens a lot in the summer from around May to October, over 80% of the cases. And there had been, I'm from North Carolina, and here there have been recently 3 deaths sort of all clustered together. And so that's what this patient's mom had heard about and became very concerned because they had already scheduled an upcoming ocean trip. So let me just run this down for you very briefly. Vibrio is the name, the big name, genus of a family of bacteria, gram-negative organisms that are oblong shaped. And there are 3 primary ones that can cause diseases in the United States: Vibrio fulnificans, Vibrio parahemolyticus, and Vibrio alginolyticus. And these can cause, most of the time, just what looks like a bad stomach bug. Really, it's food poisoning. It's usually transmitted by eating undercooked seafood, particularly oysters. But you can also catch an infection, especially in the wounds. Like if you had an open sore, open cut or something, and were in the ocean or in brackish water, this Vibrio vulnificans can get through that cut skin and really cause a severe wound infection. Now, these infections can be treated. If it is a vomiting and watery diarrhea, fever, that sort of thing, you would treat it as you would a regular stomach bug, gastroenteritis. Frequent fluids, electrolytes like just lots of water and Gatorade and ice, and keeping track of urine output and possibly needing IV fluids, things like that. But if it was very serious and could cause a whole bloodstream infection and a very serious infection, then antibiotics would be indicated. And certainly if it was the wound infection, like the Vibrio vulnificans, then you could potentially need some debridement of the wound and more invasive things to treat that. Now, this isn't extremely common, although there are about 500 hospitalizations a year from Vibrio and about 100 deaths per year from Vibrio. Now remember, certain people are going to be more at risk, particularly those who had a lot of open wounds or those who are immune compromised, and several other risk factors, including liver disease or people on acid suppressing medicine, things like that, multiple risk factors. So the best advice is don't panic. This has always been around. This is not a new thing or a sudden surge of Vibrio cases just in North Carolina. It's really not that sort of a situation. It's more that we have heard about it recently, as we hear about everything more often recently now. Thanks to the news, we get to know all the scary and bad things out there. I would advise against swimming in brackish water or the ocean with open wounds. Now, brackish water just means when there's a mixture of fresh and salt water, such as where a river enters the ocean, things like that. Or maybe where the sound enters the ocean. So brackish just means a mixture of fresh and salt water. So avoid brackish water if you have an open wound or cut. And by all means, avoid eating raw oysters, particularly really, or any raw seafood. The 3 cases of folks who had passed away in North Carolina, at least, it wasn't even 100% certain if they had simply caught this from the water or if they had also consumed raw seafood such as oysters. So do be careful, but do not be paranoid. And all of this information came from the CDC website. I hope that was helpful and made sense. Thanks.